Hey, RiverChurch family, I want to take a few minutes and talk to you about an important subject, money. We've been in operation for almost 10 years, 10 years, and this is the first time that we've actually been able to have a group of people sit down and go through all of our finances with a fine-tooth comb, looking and saying, is that an area that we need to keep spending? Is that an area where we need to cut back? Asking the question of, can we do more? And on Sunday, I want to make sure that you have a piece of information in your hand. It is our monthly budget. It's a graph to kind of show you just an idea of where we are financially. But I wanted to take a minute and kind of go through that with you, share some of the information that you're going to have in your hand on Sunday. First of all, our shepherding team has a budget committee comprised of Derek and Janet Eaton, Megan and Alex Vaughn, in cooperation with Rita Sigler, our church bookkeeper. And these 5 people have been working together for the past several months now. And what they did is they actually looked at our offerings for the year 2018, and they've listed that. It's going to be on this document for you. You'll be able to see what our giving was all the way back from January to where we stand as of September the 24th, this past Sunday, where our offerings are. It's a pretty interesting read if you just look at that list alone, and you can see there's been quite the fluctuation in our giving. Now, what we're budgeting, what we kind of have come to expect, an average offering per month is about $12,300, and you can see that again on this information sheet. Our goal, or what we really would like to see come in, is about $1,000 more than that. And so the reality for us is that we need to look at are there ways that we can cut our spending to be able to do more? Are there things that we need to do better? And so the budgeting team did a great job. They went through our existing expenses and they said, well, here are some areas that we can cut out. And they were actually able to cut out about $600 of monthly expenses. We eliminated the rental of our post office box. We have switched from Venmo from PayPal to Venmo strategically because PayPal charges a percentage for every transaction that comes, and that charge comes to us, not the donor, but to the organization, to the nonprofit. And so we've tried to step away from using PayPal. We've eliminated a storage unit that we were renting on a monthly basis to hold benevolent items, and we're no longer using the accounting firm that we were using, paying them a monthly fee. And we're doing a lot more in-house because we have more people to devote the attention to the finances of the church. And we've also eliminated a cost of donuts on Sunday morning. We'll talk more about that at the end of this conversation. So let's talk about expenses. Our budgeting team went through all of the little categories, areas where we're spending money, and they've kind of put our expenses into one of 2 categories, 2 main categories. Again, they're all subcategories that anyone can ask to see. You can ask any of the shepherding team if you have questions about our budget. But we have our general administration expenses and we have our ministry and outreach expenses. Our general administration expenses totals about $5,000 a month, and that includes rent, utilities, anything that goes into the administration or the operation, the day-to-day operation of RiverChurch. Then we have our ministry outreach expenses, which includes everything from a pastor salary to ministry partnerships to ministries within the church, benevolence, anything that is where ministry is being produced or outreach from the church is being produced falls underneath that category. Many of you may not even know where we are partnering specifically outside of RiverChurch. We have several key partnerships that we're involved in that we give to every month. We give every month to Grace Children's Home in India. You have heard us talk about Yeshuva. He is a little boy that we're sponsoring at Grace Children's Home. That's part of our monthly operating budget, our monthly ministry outreach budget. We partner with Ministry to Israel, which is a ministry that is run by Michael and Gita Utterbach, who are part of our RiverChurch family. You see them come and go a lot there in Israel, and the reason that they are is because they're working with Jewish immigrants that have moved back home to Israel from all over the world, and they're helping them to get reestablished into their new life in Israel. They work with Israeli soldiers, lone soldiers who have no family. We partner with them. We support our own missionary, Jeff and Nicole and Archie McNally. They're living in Scotland, and we team up with them. We support them every month. We also support ministries that are headed up by people right here within our church family. Forgiven Much Ministries is I've mentioned that to you before. That's headed up by Sue Moore. She leads this ministry to help folks with dealing with addiction recovery. There's 12 Springs Ministry, which is headed up by Kevin and Gina McNelly, and that is largely focused on missionary care. Kevin and Gina are responsible for introducing us to a lot of missionaries that they work with that are already on the field, and their 12 Springs helps to make sure that those people stay on the field. Not just trying to send new missionaries to the mission field every year, but making sure that the ones that are there are healthy, cared for, and being ministered to. We have benevolent ministries that come out of RiverChurch. We give to people. We have we help put people up in hotels. We've done all kinds of specific needs that have come to us. We've had the food pantry. That's why we're asking you to help us restock the food pantry, because it's been part of our operating budget to restock that on a consistent basis. With that, our kids, our youth, there's not a huge budget for them, but any money that we spend comes out of that ministry operating budget, and that total is about $8,000. When you put our general administration expenses and you add to that our ministry outreach expenses, it totals about $13,000. If you remember, our average monthly offerings is about $12,300. So we're still coming up a bit short to be able to do everything that we feel like that God has called us to do. So why are we telling you about all this? Well, there's two reasons. One, greater accountability. We want to make sure that you know exactly where your money is going when you're giving to RiverChurch. We believe that it's good soil, and we want you to believe that it's good soil. And so that's why we're making sure that you have this information in your hands. We want you to be more abreast of what our monthly offerings look like. If you look back and see the fluctuation of our offerings from January, like May was such a really low month. We feel like that would help you to see where we're at, because it costs us something to exist. The other reason that we want you to know is because we believe that there's more. There's more for us to do. We haven't just been placed in downtown Chattanooga just to simply exist, but God's calling us to more. There are greater opportunities ahead of us to do more things, to reach more people, to all for the purpose of advancing God's kingdom. And we can't do that effectively if we don't know what our resources are and what resources we can count on. If you remember seeing our monthly total for the month of September, we're already at the end of September. We've got one Sunday left, which will be this coming Sunday, and we're at about $9,900 in our monthly giving, which is considerably lower than what we need. And so I'm just asking you, between now and Sunday, to prayerfully consider your giving on Sunday. Remember that the tithe is what God has called us to give. It's 10% of our earnings, and it's our way of saying, God, I'm trusting you with the 90% by giving you this 10%. And then above and beyond the tithe is our offering. And throughout the Old Testament, New Testament, you see that God calls us to bring offerings. And so that's what I'm asking you to do. Would you prayerfully consider your giving this coming Sunday to help us get to step into that first full month, now that we have this budget in place, to be able to reach our goal, our ideal goal of $13,300. We believe that it's important for you to know so that you can give with confidence and with understanding as it relates to what God has called us to do as a church family. Now, I mentioned to you donuts, right? It's a very sensitive subject. It's one that we spent a lot of time talking, a ridiculous amount of time talking about on Sunday at our shepherding team meeting. So I want to introduce you to Megan Vaughn. You know Megan and Alex. They're part of our family for a while now, and they're part of our shepherding team, but they've also been on the budget team. And she's going to talk to you for a few minutes about the very sensitive and important subject of donuts. Megan, take it away.
Hey RiverChurch family, the shepherding team has a really important announcement for you. We have asked Cadence Coffee Shop to be open on Sunday mornings. While RiverChurch supports missionaries and missions all over the world, the way that we reach people in Chattanooga, in the heart of the city, is through the ministry that happens at Cadence Coffee Shop. In order to fully support the mission at Cadence Coffee Shop on Sunday mornings, we will no longer be providing tasty donuts. Many of you have already asked about how that you can fill this need, and we have met and brainstormed, and we have some ideas on how you can purchase a pastry from Cadence Coffee Shop that can be given complimentary to the members of RiverChurch. If that's something that you would like to do to meet the need for RiverChurch members, let someone know on the shepherding team, and we'd be happy to help you meet this need. By cutting out tasty donuts, we will be able to save over $800 a year, and we felt like that there are better ways that we can steward our money. So, thank you for supporting River Church in this decision and also supporting the ministry that happens through Cadence Coffee Shop.
Thanks again, Megan. Listen, we want to make sure that we're the best possible stewards of the finances that God gives us. We know that we can't do what we want to do without God's direction and your obedience. So I'm praying that you will continue to be obedient. For our regular givers, thank you for giving faithfully. For those that have given sporadically here and there, I'm going to ask you to prayerfully consider about being a faithful giver. And for those of you that haven't yet stepped into that area of worship and embrace that core value of generosity that River Church talks about a lot, I'm going to ask you to trust God with your finances, to trust Him with even just giving just the smallest gift. Watch and see what He does. As you sow, I promise you this is good soil, and God's going to cause great fruit to come from what you sow. Even the smallest seeds can bear the greatest fruit.